start with job titles and what you need to understand to find out which roles to invest your time in applying to. One of the most important things to initially note is that job titles differ quite a bit from academia to industry. If you're a bachelor's or master's level candidate, you want to look at research associate to associate scientist positions typically, with research associate being the entry level position with minimal experience outside of education that you want to look for. For PhD candidates, you don't want to apply to research associate level positions with companies because that's considered a bachelor's, master's level. For PhD candidates, you want to apply to scientist level or above, scientist, senior scientist, principal scientist, with scientist being the entry level position, with again, minimal either postdoctoral or industry experience. And I will get a little bit more into on the next slide. These are entry level, but there is a career ladder beyond that. And typically you want to add 2 to 3 years additional experience for each additional level. The other thing is that beyond research associate and scientist, titles can differ between different companies. So here's 2 options that I've seen. There's still the standard research associate and scientist for bachelor's, master's level, and PhD level. But then above research associate, you have senior research associate and associate scientist. And then above scientist, you'll have senior scientist, principal scientist, and it can go on from there into staff scientist, department heads, things like that. Versus others, I've seen them numerically ordered from research associate 1 to 3 and scientist 1 through 3. But you should see these as roughly equivalent in the degree level that they're looking for and the experience level that they're looking for. I mentioned that as you progress up the career ladder, experience is going to be one of the big determining factors. And industry is also fairly particular about what they count as experience. Typically, years that you're working towards a degree are not counted as years experience. And I know that can be a little difficult for those of us who spent 5 years or more working towards a PhD, but in industry that's typically not counted as years experience. So it would still be scientist level. Postdoc years will typically count towards years of experience. And you'll also see job descriptions that say specifically industry experience. Again, this can be a little confusing because when we work in academic labs, we're working in a scientific space, but that's considered very different from the biotech company space. So when they're asking for industry experience, when you see that come up, they are being pretty particular about wanting at least some experience being with a company setting.